Rumors were going around about a new mouse coming from Logitech, and it's actually a refreshed model. Basically, you guys love the older version, well, most of you for that fact. Today we have three actually models of the same mouse. We have the Logitech G502 X Plus, we have the G502 X Lightspeed, and we have the standard wired G502X. Now, what's it all about when we're talking about this mouse, and how does it compare to the standard G502 Lightspeed? We're going to find out. So first things first, everybody in the industry, including Logitech, is creating a lightweight mice, yet here we are. We have G502 X Plus with the weight around 106 grams. Then we have the standard Logitech G502 X Lightspeed, which doesn't have the RGB. It goes around 102 grams, and have the wired version, which is around 89-90 grams. So basically, what's it all about? The difference between those two is one has RGB lights, the other one doesn't. And that's basically it when it comes to these two. But when we take into consideration the wired version, there's also no RGB in that one, which is strange basically because we have a wired connection and that doesn't take out any of the battery life since it's directly connected to your PC. So no recharging necessary, yet we still don't have it. So that's a bit of a shame, but that's it. Now, even though everybody is producing lighter mice, Logitech continues to develop its G502 in varieties of versions, gives us an upgraded version from the past models. It looks really similar when we're taking into consideration the design. It's still ergonomical, so there's that. You have a different grip which doesn't have those triangles, but it has some sort of a line, so it's more simplistic in that way. Now, if we take a look at the sniper button, we have a different shape for sure, and it's removable. So you have two plastic pegs and a magnet, and you can swap it with a non-clickable rubber button if you don't intend to use it. It's quite easy to swap it out. You just have to pull it out and place the one that you're using in. The cool thing about it is that the sniper button can be used on both ways, so it can either be placed on front or at the back. It also depends on your personal preferences, so I won't go into that part. But the accessibility of the button is also very important in this scenario. So there's that really cool addition, and if you don't need it, you can easily remove it. In terms of other design changes, we have this middle part after the scroll wheel, which is extended completely to the edges of the left and right click, giving us some more, I would say, material, but it does kind of make the mouse whole. Now, comparing it to the old G502 Lightspeed, does it give additional weight to it? I'm not quite sure, because it's not the same model. It has a completely different weight distribution, and in terms of comparing the old model as 140 grams and the new one at 106 grams. So this could be cool, giving it a more refined touch, but it doesn't get that front aggressive look as the older model did. Now, still we have the hyper scrolling, so there's that, and you have left and right click on your scroll wheel, which is always appreciated and basically gives us some more additional features when doing well, either gaming or work, it doesn't matter. Finally, on G502X, we have a USB Type-C port on front for charging, and this is good because it charges much faster than your past model, so that's really outstanding. And good thing, on the bottom we have 4 100% pure PTFE feet, so they remove those standard feet that were actually, after quite some time of usage, really hideous, and they get damaged quite a lot. Let's not forget that PTFE feet is much faster on your mouse pad when you're moving it and using it as so. So we have an ergonomical shape which is definitely acceptable, and this is quite cool because symmetrical shape like on Superlight or G303 is cool for some, but for others the ergonomical shape might fit them much better. Talking about the dimensions of the mouse, it's 131 millimeters long. The widest point of the mouse is 77 millimeters, while the middle is 60. The height is 39 millimeters, while the front is 26.5 millimeters. As already stated, but just want to clarify it again, the old model is 114 grams, the G502 X Plus is 106 grams, and the G G502 X Lightspeed is 102 grams, most likely because the G502 X Lightspeed doesn't have the RGB, so there's that 4 grams of difference, plus the standard wired version is 89 as already stated. Now let's discuss that weight ratio and how it actually performs in terms of usage. So it's still on the heavier side. Others, and including Logitech, produce quite lighter mice like G303 as already stated, and the super light going around 60 grams. But G502 is well known for its weight, it's well known for its ergonomical shape and the amount of buttons that it has for quite normal usage. This way it's basically just continuing the original design and giving the older users that already have a G502 Lightspeed and want to go into a new era of G502, giving us some new kicks and basically lowering down the weight just for a couple of grams. Basically, I think here, without further discussion on it, it kind of feels lighter than 106 grams when you're using it, and it doesn't definitely feel like over 100 grams, but it is, basically it is. It's somewhat a feel that you have in your hand. It's hard to describe actually. But there's also the fact that if you're used to a bit heavier mouse, and especially G502 that you already had before, you're going to love this one with the same weight or a little less than usual. So the cool thing and what they did finally on their gaming mice is you have new switches. So these are hybrid optical switches which are super tactile, and I think you need to listen to the clicks. So first of all, let's start with the left and right click. As you might have heard, the clicks are quite crispy and they really do sound quite nice. Yet we have a quite nice not typing, but clicking while you're gaming. So it's really tactile and it really does give a special feel when you're using the mouse. As for the technology in the sensor, so we have a standard, as on paper it says a standard Hero 25K sensor, but they are stating it's 68% much faster than the previous sensor. So they are actually constantly placing some new tech inside, which is basically quite nice. So we have Light Force tech inside, which will give that 68% faster of movements. But could you actually notice the 68% movements? It's more likely you would notice something different. The 68% is just a figure of speech or maybe a number that you won't notice unless you're a computer that actually, or a robot that actually feels the difference while moving your hand. Now 68% is quite a large number and actually a claim that is quite interesting, but nevertheless that number is there, and with the new tech on the Hero sensor I think it might give you some advantages in movement, but the actual movement with 2/3 is just outstanding basically, which you might not even notice. Now as you can see here we have 3 different varieties of a mouse, and I'm not only saying in terms of RGB, non-RGB and wired version. We have a black version and we have a grayish white version, but here is the catch. If you go with a G502 X Plus, you can go with black or white with RGB. If you go with the G502 X Lightspeed, you can go with black or white without RGB, of course. And we have the wired version, which is like so. So quite interesting because we have loads of models which you can choose from and basically make your setup a whole just according to the mouse with, I don't know, approaching with the keyboard. If you have, for instance, G915 TKL white version, you'll go with this one, or a white version of this one with RGB. It's all up to you guys. I would say big thumbs up again, especially because they somewhat not reinvented, but they're using an older model, giving a refreshed design, but still upgrading the technology inside the mouse, giving us faster movements, but you'll notice some difference for sure. So guys, that's it for today. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel and a first-time visitor for future reviews, builds and stuff like that. And if you're interested in checking out the G502 X Plus, G502 X Lightspeed, or just a wired version G502X, you can check out the links below, and that would be it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.